Welcome to Every River Monster Movie. With us on the live intro was Skylar.
Hello.
Tolkien, also
Hi.
here in the booth. Daniel, also here in the booth.
Hi.
Once again, I'm Max, this is Every River Monster Movie, and tonight we have a double feature. The first of what will hopefully be many. The first film... What's his name? What's
Dark
the actor?
City.
No, just... God damn it, Daniel. Wait,
Rufus
where is
Sewell.
it?
John Murdoch. Rufus Sewell.
Alex Proyas presents... Alex Proyas?
Yes, Alex Proyas. We looked it up.
Dark City.
Alex Proyas.
Can we do a take two of everything?
I'll just fucking cut all that out.
Okay.
Tonight's first movie is Dark City. 1995, directed by Alex Proyas, starring Rufus Sewell, Kiefer Sutherland, Jennifer Connelly, Richard O'Brien, Ian Richardson, and William Hurt. Skylar, give us the back of the box.
Gladly. When John Murdoch awakens in a strange hotel room, he finds that he is waiting for a series of brutal murders. Wanted for a series of brutal murders. Sorry, I'm going to start this over. When John Murdoch awakens in a strange hotel room, he finds that he is wanted for a series of brutal murders. The problem is he can't remember a thing. Pursued by the police and haunted by the strangers, mysteries. What?
What?
No, please continue.
Oh my god.
What? Should I be further away from them? Okay.
Yeah.
Don't squeak so much in the chair.
When John Murdoch awakens in a strange hotel room, he finds that he is wanted for a series of brutal murders. The problem is he can't remember a thing. Pursued by the police and haunted by the strangers, mysterious beings who possess the ability to stop time and alter reality. He seeks to unravel the twisted riddle of his identity, but in a city where reality is the ultimate illusion, discovering the truth could be fatal. From Alex Proyas.
Estimated running time?
That is the movie. The estimated running time is approximately 96 minutes.
How do they not know? Oh, approximately probably means with seconds.
Yes.
Yes.
That'd make sense. It's a science fiction horror film. This week's monster, our first extraterrestrial monster, the, what are they called?
The Strangers.
The Strangers. The Strangers are extraterrestrial beings that take human form. In reality, they're these, like, plasma tentacle monsters that just live inside dead people.
That are bald
That are bald
and pale
and male.
and pale.
Are they all male?
Mostly, pretty much all.
I'm pretty sure they're
We
all
never
male.
And
see
hate the
a
light.
female.
And hate the light. Don't forget
They
that.
hate the light. They're very photosensitive. They're very pale.
Are
and
they
they're
not?
Very bald.
Are they not? They're not vampires, but they have vampire characteristics, I would
They
They-
seem kind of vampiric
Yeah.
in that they're pale
In nature.
and they
and
hate
they're
the
skinny
light.
And they don't
wear
like
all-
the sun.
They don't like the sun. They wear all black.
Yeah.
They're creepy
They wear
dudes.
big hats and big coats, and they have telepathic abilities, which include warping reality and flying around.
Which is called tuning in the movies.
In the movie talk,
Explanation.
it is called tuning. You're right, Daniel. What in the world is that? I think the cassette player is
Why
running.
is that on? I didn't even know that shit worked. Well, now we know.
Now we know. It's still
on.
going.
Just unplug it.
I don't know what it is.
Well, we're gonna cut all this out.
Yep.
In no small part due to how much squeaking Skylar's doing.
Alright.
What is
This chair's bad. I'll just sit on the ground.
I can't. I don't know what it is.
Crawl around on the floor for a while.
Take out the speakers too. Maybe that's.
Pause recording.
No, you can't.
Okay.
It's better to just.
Okay, whatever.
It's this. And this is. There you go.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyway,
And we're back.
the main character, he wakes up and he's in a bathtub.
No, we should back up to. Oh yeah, the monsters.
The monsters.
Monsters.
The strangers.
The strangers.
strangers.
They're bald. One of them is a kid.
They're reality benders.
Yes, they have a kid one.
It is
Yeah.
called tuning in the movie's explanation.
You know what's fucked up? That
What?
must have been a dead kid that they took.
You think?
Because they inhabit dead people.
Oh my god.
What a morbid. way
That's
to describe
literally
this.
just an alien in a little kid body.
The
That's
skin
all that
of
one
the
is.
skin, basically.
The exo skin.
Yeah.
The complete dermis and shape, I guess.
But
of a
wouldn't you
human
want to
being.
be a dead kid if you were an alien? If you had that option?
I think.
Or did they not have a choice?
I think we're delving
don't
into things
know.
about Skylar's past. We won't
I don't know
want to
that
know.
it particularly matters.
Mm-mm.
The first thing we get in Dark City is a monologue from the Dr. Nathan Presbyterian?
Is it Kiefer Sutherland?
Yes.
Played by Kiefer Sutherland. We could just say Dr. Sutherland.
Dr. Kiefer Sutherland, who is a autistic weirdo, I think? Or maybe he's just way smarter than everyone.
And
he
terrified.
feels, maybe feels kind of
Yeah, he's-
alone. 'Cause
he's a
he's the only one
nervous
that
guy.
knows what's going
He's a
on.
nervous
He's
character.
pretty involved.
He
He's
is.
more involved than any of the other
He
non-aliens.
knows what's going on.
Likes to spend
in the
his
movie.
time in pools.
Yeah, he is the human being working with the strangers to perpetuate their experiments.
As he's their scientist.
Yeah, he's their scientist basically.
Yeah.
He does their tampering with, as we find out, memories, which it appears that the strangers are not so capable with, or at least slightly less capable than he. So, in their experiments, where they have a perpetual city basically just running, they have a contained little city, the Dark City. They have
They have a full control over everyone and everything. I'm sorry, Max was temporarily incapacitated. Not by this movie, it's a great movie. Alright. Our story picks up with John Murdoch,
Wait, I got
our
it.
hero, in the bath. Yes?
What about the monologue?
yeah. What about the monologue?
What about the monologue?
There's a monologue. It's
The monologue
important.
by the doctor, Dr. Kiefer Sutherland.
That's the important beginning.
Yeah.
It's not the real beginning.
It is not.
Dr. Kiefer Sutherland is the human being who knows what the strangers are doing. He is the one guy.
And then cut to...
At least the strangers are aware of. There is another aware of their machinations over
There's
the city.
other people randomly waking up,
Yes.
but he's the one
He is the
that
one who
knows
works
everything
with
for
them.
sure.
He knows how to work with memory,
Yeah,
namely.
he's mainly the reason for it.
Which is why they... It seems as though he is the only one capable of memory manipulation, although it's likely that the strangers could do it.
Now,
Maybe.
what is the stranger's
Who knows?
purpose for this memory manipulation?
The stranger's purpose for this memory manipulation is to perpetuate their little experiments. I won't say exactly what their experiment results in by the end of the film, or is revealed to be by the end of the film.
Mm-hmm.
But
It's basically.
let it be said that their experiments are
It's learning
on
about
on
humans.
just creating situations that people live in with like all of their memories intact, and then studying them to figure out the human
But
soul.
they plant new memories. Basically, they give you
Yes.
they give
But-
people a situation, and they give them memories to go with that situation, so they can learn about it.
Let's-
Every night at midnight, the strangers commit their strange deeds, and everyone in the city, but the main character and those rare few who know about what's going on, everybody falls unconscious, and the city warps in stunning, state-of-the-art 1995 computer graphics. It's
Some of
wonderful.
them aren't even computer graphics. Some of it is
Oh,
Pee Wee
yeah.
Herman style, and it's
A pretty good
it's-
amount of them
it's-
is that, but don't look down on.
I'm not saying it's terrible. It's
It
not even
really
terrible
isn't.
for today's standards.
But we
it's-
will get back to why our issues with tuning in a bit.
We have issues with tuning.
Yes.
I have issues with
I-
tuning.
I-
They're
have
talking
issues
about
with
the issues with tuning
yeah.
to the video effects.
Whatever.
The effect of video,
yeah.
the visual representation of what tuning looks like.
Yes.
But
and
to-
also its place in the story.
To go back to why they are experimenting on humans, the caption at the bottom of the cover is, "They built a city to see what makes us tick. Last night, one of us went off." Bum, bum. So they're studying human behavior and learning about like the human soul. What they're doing is they're giving you a new experience every day and seeing if you'll act any different at all, or. But eventually, what seems to happen is they wake up, just like our main character does,
Yeah.
Our main character wakes up in a bathroom with no memory of how we got there.
in a hotel.
In a hotel.
hotel.
In a hotel.
Along with
Along with the corpse of a prostitute.
there's I thought there were two.
No, there's one.
I thought there were two prostitutes.
There's one in a different hotel elsewhere.
Let's just say
That is
he's
investigated by the
definitely
detective.
Basically, they think the investigator thinks that he killed two prostitutes.
Because the aliens have set it up to where he killed those two prostitutes.
Basically,
And
yes.
were it not for him just not receiving the memories of having killed the prostitutes, he would have gone along with.
Yeah.
And become the serial killer.
But he knew
Most likely.
he knew he didn't kill those prostitutes. He knew deep down that basically he didn't do it, and he thought he was framed by somebody.
And
Because ostensibly he was.
yes. And thus he starts to recover his memory, his sanity, and starts to rebel against the Dark City, if you will.
He makes a friend with the woman who's supposed to be his wife.
Before that, though, before meeting up with his wife, he meets up with a kind of a prostitute.
Oh, yeah.
Basically to test and see if he really is capable of murdering.
If he had the balls
If he had
to
the-
kill
if
it.
he had
In
the-
the situation, in the given situation that you're in a room alone with a hooker, would you kill her? He
It
wanted
turns
to
out
test
that he would not.
He would not.
He didn't.
He didn't even
He
sleep with
did
her.
not have the.
He was very gentleman's
He did
club
not have the
about it.
fucked up life experience.
Although he did come off pretty creepy.
He did.
He did, but I mean,
He was
it's a
weirded
creepy
out.
environment, and he's
He
a
was
human
weirded
being
out.
without an imprint.
Yeah.
Human beings are necessarily imprinted.
Okay. So after he meets with the prostitutes, he goes and gets his wallet because he's told that this bank has his wallet. And that's how we find out his name, which is John Murdoch.
Is it a restaurant that has his wallet?
It was a bank.
It was
It's
no,
a
it was
restaurant.
It was a serve. It was a. It was one of those old timey food things where they just put the food in a dish and then the dish in
In a
little
square.
a
in
little
the
cubby.
dumbwaiter.
And if you paid money, you could open up one of the things and then take the food out and then eat it.
It's like a snack machine or a vending machine, but it's
for meals.
it's fresh cooked food.
Yeah, exactly.
It's from it's a restaurant.
It is a restaurant. It's just one of
So
those
he left his
early
wallet
methods of
there.
automation restaurants.
The cook or whatever puts his wallet inside of one of the compartments and he
He
has
doesn't
to,
have enough money
He
to
doesn't have
get into
shit.
it. I think he just breaks it open, doesn't he?
he tunes it up.
He tunes it open.
tunes
That's
it.
On accident, kind of.
Yeah.
It's the first tune. He's like wah, 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 wah,
Yep.
wah.
You basically see these rings of
Ripples.
or these ripples,
Mind ripples.
these mind
Mind
ripples coming out of his cranium,
Yep.
and they shoot at it, and then
And apparently
It
that
opens.
counts as U.S. currency because it opens. And he gets his wallet, which isn't a meal. And I wonder
But-
if in his wallet there was ironically change.
I
for
need to
a piece
know.
of cake.
Was on the wallet? Was there a meal below it? So did he get a meal in
No.
his wallet?
No.
No. The important questions to be asked.
And we kind of skipped over in the beginning. I wanted to mention when he saves the goldfish.
the goldfish is important.
Oh
It is.
yeah, the goldfish.
It shows he isn't a real killer.
It
And
shows
that
that
He accidentally
cares.
breaks a jar with a goldfish in it.
After waking
Why a
up.
hotel would have a goldfish? I don't know.
After waking up
After
in a
waking
hotel
up
with
in
dead
the
hookers.
yeah, after waking up with the dead hooker, he breaks the glass. He breaks the gold.
The goldfish
He
bowl.
breaks the fish bowl.
Yes, and then he picks it up and he puts it in the bathtub that he was lying in, full
Exactly.
of water. And then he goes about his frantic adventure
It
after
is
that.
one of the most visually striking scenes in the movie. It's something that you will remember.
And they
I've
talk
already
about it
forgotten.
later. They say, what kind of a killer
Oh yeah.
saves
save
a
the gold?
fucking
Yeah.
fish, you know?
Meanwhile, to this whole murder thing, a detective is investigating a series of apparent murders. I guess they are murders, but whatever. They were staged. It's all staged.
They're murders that
detective
happened in
is-
the minds of these people.
Yeah. The detective is a good cop. He just wants to solve the big murder. And then
He's a character.
he just mostly talks to people and sometimes plays sort of a role in the plot.
William Hurt.
William Hurt.
And he just gets caught up, basically, being the cop, going after the case of Murdoch. You know, he starts to find... Because he talks to a guy who has woken up also. You know, the guy
That's
who's
right.
drawing circles in his room.
Yeah, there's a
And
guy
understand.
Yeah.
They think he's crazy, though. They think he's fucking out of his
The
mind.
spiral in a circle motif is present pretty consistently. Because it turns out that is the shape of the city, pretty much.
Yeah.
There is a center to the city, and below that is where all the crazy monsters congregate and do their business.
Yes, the strangers. They all
The strangers.
meet up down there, and they have a big machine that ends up being the generator to the whole to their whole operation.
Their whole psychic operation.
Yes.
Which builds the
It's
city,
got all their
basically.
psychocurrency.
Their operation is to...
It manipulates the reality
Yeah.
above.
It's a matrix, basically. But
Yeah.
it's
It's
presented in a different way.
it's a physical matrix.
Yeah. Which is interesting. I
Yes.
just like...
And also, the strangers make it night for
all
forever.
the time.
All
Because
the
they
time.
like light. They're photosensitive, so
They
they're
are
like.
not.
Yes, they are.
No, I said they are like.
You said they are not.
I did not.
You did
I
say
did
that.
not. We can go back, but regardless.
There's no light in Dark City, but in people's memories, they remember going to a
People,
place.
no, it's just that people don't question it. It's just that people don't think.
But
when
in their
was the last
like
time
John
it was
Murdoch has memories.
John Murdoch has
of
memories
Shell
of the
Beach.
daytime, but if you ask people when the last time it was,
They
day
can't remember.
They
was,
don't even
They can't.
know.
It's beyond their comprehension, or at least it's a curiosity to them.
Yes.
They just don't think about it. the imagery is slightly unique.
How so?
Well, Daniel, I think it pays a lot of homage to the film The City of Lost Children,
Thus
directed by
True.
Jean-Pierre.
Jean-Pierre Jeunet.
That guy.
Old and decrepit Crank has lost his capacity for dreaming and is attempting to fight death by stealing the dreams of children.
That's right, motherfuckers, it's a two-parter!
Oh, by the way, this is compare and contrast, y'all.
Crank's cadre of cloned henchmen, all of them played by Dominic Pinnon, snatch 5-year-old Don Ray to subject him to the horrific dream retrieval process. The boy's father, which is Ron Perlman. I thought that it was his little brother, though, in the movie. This might not be the most accurate description of the film. The hulking strong man of a traveling circus and his precious 9-year-old friend, Miette, join forces to defeat Crank's minions and save Don Ray. It's a good-ass movie.
It is. And one that he
Both
forced
of
us
these
to watch.
films have very angular aesthetics.
Yes.
Very old-timey, like Art Deco.
They're kind of Art Deco, but they have a timeless feel.
Yeah,
They do.
they're timeless, and they're about cities.
It's anachronistic.
They're about
They're
cities.
both about
Dreams.
cities,
And
and
they're-
they revel in demonstrating these cramped quarters that go up forever,
like old Victorian London.
surrounding you.
It
Yes,
seems
exactly.
inspired by old Victorian London, but it has technology.
I think it's just-
it has a modern technology that's done if it was done back then, basically.
Well, I'm saying
Ba-
both of the films.
Both of the films, yes, they have that steampunk aesthetic of technology and things that
I would say
wouldn't have been invented
Dark
back then.
City has some elements like that, like in the Alien,
Kind of, yeah.
design.
Equipment
With the,
designs.
whatever the aliens have. Yeah.
but the whole city is more just straight Art Deco.
It's more
Which
trapped
is
in the
sort of a
40s and
similar
30s.
period, maybe.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say that Dark City is more 30s and 40s, whereas City of Lost Children is more
Like
1910s,
I was gonna say,
1920s.
1890s.
But it could have 18. It does have some
1890s.
1890s. I mean, it's got.
Maybe as far back as like 1860s with the
It has
traveling
the
circus
mechanic,
feel.
the traveling circus, and the mechanical stuff made out of clockwork.
But both,
stuff.
even though they have these older stylistic looking frames and everything, they all have science in them. They all have
Yes.
syringes and, there's fleas
medicine
that
and
have attachments. These fleas.
artificial intelligences and clones and they're unique pictures, both of them.
Yes.
One more unique than the other, perhaps.
Is what
Although
Skylar's
technically
argument
that's
is.
grammatically impossible.
What?
There's no such thing as more unique than any other thing. Unique is a positive or negative statement, whether or not something is or is not unique.
Unique
It
brings
cannot
us
be
to
more
an
unique
important
than
plot
another.
point in the movie.
Oh
With
yeah,
the
that's
clones. The clones are all obsessed with finding out who the original is, and they all of them want to know how unique each of them are.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, it kind of leads to one of their demise, the original.
right. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Should we talk about the plot
Sure.
a little bit?
The plot of The City of Lost Children, we had a very difficult time following because
Except
we
for
watched
me.
it without any subtitles.
And it's a
in
French
the original French.
And I've seen it about 18 times with subtitles, this being my first time without subtitles, and I can imagine why there would be some confusion.
Confusion was abound. and
I got
aplenty.
it, but there were just scenes of people talking. It was silly.
I think I understood a lot of even what they were saying.
Yeah.
When the clones are
all the-
talking to the brain is telling them about how each one of them is sort of unique or
Trying to
something.
convince them that they
He's
Even
pitting them
manipulating
against each
them.
other,
Yes.
sorta. Yeah.
pitting them
They
against
tell
Frank.
the doctor how sad he is all the time, or they pity him and kind of.
So-
But they also don't care about him.
Every
They don't
character,
really care about him because they know he's kind of shitty, but they just play along with it.
Every character has their own thing that. In the movie, you know that's what they're gonna be talking about.
Yeah.
Should we talk about basically the monsters of this movie first before we go
Yes.
into what happens
Certainly,
chronologically?
certainly.
Okay.
The monster of this film is slightly less present in the film, but he's there nonetheless. The monster of this film is named Skylar?
Crank or Kronk.
No, not the guy, the
Not the guy.
robot.
The
The
robot.
artificial the brain.
The smartest.
I
brain
guess
in the world.
you'd consider
That's the
the monster.
monster,
but he's a good guy.
He's a good guy.
No, the
It's the
monster
monster's
is
gonna be
the
the
monster.
Frankenstein's a good guy.
Frankenstein's, I guess he's a good guy. He throws a little girl in a lake, but I mean, he
didn't mean to.
in the end,
Okay,
everybody
I would
loves it.
say
What was
the
the guy's
monsters would be either the scientist guy who's
Doctor.
Kronk or
Ooh,
Kronk
there's
or
lots of
whatever.
monsters in
Or
this movie.
it would be the conjoined twins
They are pretty
Or-
monstrous.
in a cool, awesome way. Or it could be the guys with the eyepiece that are deaf and blind.
They're deaf and
Now that
they're
I think
the deaf
about
and
it,
blind.
this movie has like 5 monsters.
Yes,
Yeah.
but we'll
Okay.
start with Kronk.
Yeah.
Kronk was born without the capacity to dream.
He's
So
very
he's
sad
really
about it.
sad and depressed, and he's kind of a low life because of it. But
he's
he's
very
really smart.
smart.
He's really smart, and he can make things. And something that he makes a lot of things.
First, he makes a wife for himself.
First, he makes a wife for himself who
turns
accidentally
out-
became a midget,
Yeah.
and
Or dwarf.
they had a kid who also followed in his father's footsteps.
And became really
But they
smart.
didn't agree on some stuff, and eventually it led to a huge fight and the son leaving, or basically them killing the son, but he didn't actually die.
Yeah.
So
Attempted murder.
they basically forget about him, but they cloned him. So they have
Mm.
a bunch of clones of Kronk's son as kind of dumb minions.
They might be some monsters.
They could be monsters even.
Yeah.
And he
They're
creates
comedic.
the brain.
He creates the brain trying to make something that's like the ultimate
It's
human, but
a-
it doesn't have a body.
It's a brain in a square in a cube made of glass.
in some green
green
liquid.
liquid with bubbles rising.
It's a big,
in it
cool
perfectly.
steampunk
like
a roller
machine
table.
full of
And
glowing,
it has
green
a camera
green-
attached.
Yes.
It has like a
It has an
GoPro
old.
You can
on
see
It was an
it.
old timey camera.
Yeah, the
lens
brain can
on the
see
front.
and it can talk through a series of kind of advanced technology made out of
Yeah.
like.
that looks old.
It looks old. It's made out of clockwork, and it's got like
It's got horns.
it's got horns that it can talk
Not
through like an
devil
old, like an old record player.
Yeah. Like an old phonograph.
Yes.
It's got an old phonogram horn.
It's great. That's also a monster. Meanwhile, there's a guy with a son/younger brother, depending on
I think it's the younger
who you listen
brother,
to. Okay.
if I may remember correctly from the
The
translation.
little brother eats a lot.
He's
Yep.
eating every time.
He doesn't talk.
Almost.
He's a
Ron
little kid
Perlman.
that doesn't talk.
He eats a candlestick at one point.
The main character, played by
He
Ron
likes to
Perlman,
burp.
whose name is Ron Perlman.
No, one. His name's one in the
His
movie.
name is Ron
How do you spell that?
Perlman.
It's
How do you-
one.
how do you spell
One
it?
O-N-E.
Perlman. Okay.
In French?
No,
Is
in
that a
English.
name?
It's just his name. He has a
Okay.
weird name because
Okay,
he's a
so
weird
his
guy.
name is Juan. Juan Perlman. And he can just break out of anything.
Yeah, he's a strong man.
until he's on a diving board with some
He wasn't
seagulls
strong enough
eating
for
the
that,
chump.
but it appears that he's just really strong.
He's really strong.
that
He's a
extends to being
circus-
able to
he's a
break out of
circus freak,
chains. Yeah,
kinda.
he's a circus strongman.
Um,
Yeah. He loses his brother because Kronk. This movie is just like all plot. Oh my god. Kronk has a fleet of other evil minions who are just deaf and mute people who he's given the ability to see and hear with like
With technology.
Steampunk devices.
Yes.
Basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're like kind of a cult.
They are a cult.
They are definite. They are absolutely a cult.
And that's where I would say
They have a
the
crazy preacher.
the parallels to Dark City start to come out. The henchmen.
Yeah. I think
In
that's
the underground
That's
layer.
just an aesthetic.
It is an
similarity.
aesthetic, but we're supposed to contrast this.
If you ask me, the similarities between these two films are entirely surface level.
I agree. Except
I think there's
You would
can
call it
dig a little
synchronicity.
deeper.
there's some. They're
You
both
can
cerebral.
force it.
You could force it and
can
say
force
that
it.
they're both pretty cerebral.
They both
Yeah.
revolve around dreams super heavily. Like that's the main
No.
Yes.
It's dreams and it's memories. Those are
dreams,
different things.
memories, but it's when they're sleeping and then they wake up and everything's different.
I think that's an aesthetic choice. I think that's just an aesthetic. They both have people being asleep, not necessarily.
I think
do
it's
they both
because
comment
if
on
you implant
that in
if
the
you
same
implant a memory into someone, it's gonna change everything.
Well, let's talk about that a
Which
little.
is
But if you implant a
Because nobody
dream,
knows what
it's
we're
just not
talking
gonna
about.
affect as much.
The way that-
but they still kind of have the same.
we-
Which is kind of like the City of Lost Children when the scientist decides to go into the kid's dreams. and kidnaps
Okay,
their
Kronk
girlfriends.
can't dream. Kronk needs he kidnaps children because he needs to feed off of their dreams. He puts himself in a machine with the kid, and he goes inside of their dreams and experiences them, basically. But at the same time,
because he's kidnapping the children,
they're traumatized and they're
their
having
dreams are all
nightmares. So he hates that he's basically the reason that they're having nightmares. So he goes through this process when they're awake of trying to cheer them up, and it goes terribly wrong because it
He's
just scares them even more.
A frightening old man.
He thinks that dressing up as Santa Claus and using his clones as elves basically is a good way to
to
make him
cheer
less.
up these entrapped children.
And
Yeah.
if you look at Dark City, it's similar but not exactly.
It is not.
Because the dreams are in this French movie and they kind of manipulate the plot a little when people have them, or they make kids cry, and that's a problem to the scientist. But in Dark City, when people wake up and start realizing what's going on, that's the issue that they're having by implanting memories into people. So it's the same plot points essentially, just not exactly.
It's like the same
disagree.
sort of plan. If you really get down to it,
Well, I
where
mean, yes,
somebody
technically, but I don't even know that it matters.
It doesn't matter,
matters.
but it matters.
It matters for this. I would say for what we're talking about,
Yes.
it kind of matters.
it does.
But that's
Okay.
it. Only if you're gonna compare and contrast these movies and to any other movie. That's the only reason those things even.
Apparently, they have a very long-standing connection. People say. We probably should have established that up front.
Yeah.
We can edit that.
People say that these movies are very connected.
And I would mostly disagree, but I
would disagree because
There
when
are
I saw it,
I
distinct
like to
influences
force it.
that-
I think
Forcing
that
it is so easy that
Yeah.
I understand.
Mm.
But I would normally just disagree with.
when I saw Dark City, I saw that there was some influence. I wouldn't say that there's much else other than that, but there was definitely some influence from the City of Lost Children.
I could imagine Alex Proyas sitting down and watching The City of Lost
Yeah.
Children because directors watch other directors, especially
God.
when they.
People in the
People
film
watch
industry
movies.
watch
No.
movies.
Way.
Daniel, what are you talking about?
Of course, okay. But this is where the similarities end. For City of Lost Children looks more like a Terry Gilliam movie. in how
It's adorable but horrifying.
It's
all at the same
adorable
time.
but horrifying, which is Gilliam's brand of cerebral, weird Tim Burton-like.
Daniel, who is Tom Gilliam? Who is Terry Gilliam?
Terry Gilliam is one of the Monty Python animators.
What's Monty Python?
Monty Python is a sketch group from the 70s that revolutionized
And
sketch
moving on.
Point is, Alex Proyas' directorial style and how he decided to go about with Dark City was he decided to take a dark, moody idea and use
Psychological thriller.
psychological thriller, decided to make it dark, not like The Crow, because The Crow was a lot more emo and comic booky, and this was a lot more neo-noir of how in a sense of how they wanted to get.
Noir or noir.
Yes. If you want to be French about it, oh, see the other connection.
Oh man.
But yes, that is pretty much where the contrast is, and how they go about with the stories, and how the direction is taken with these two properties or
Missing a
projects.
string?
Yes.
City of Lost Children, I would just like to ask the question of where the fuck does that movie take place?
I would
It
like
takes
It takes place at any time in any place. That is French.
It's a French-speaking place, probably like in a time period that is pretty loose.
Yeah.
yes.
In no time period, but in every time period.
Mm-hmm.
But in a strangely specific non-time
Just
period.
to me, it seems like the crazy scientist has a lot of control over what happens around the town. and
Even though he
around the
lives
city.
on an old
Yeah.
oiling
and
facility
that's
off
the
the
other
coast
comparison
in
to
the
Dark
ocean.
City. Is Dark City is all about these bad guys having control of this area, which is really a giant spaceship, basically in Dark City.
Yeah, that's
right?
what it turns out. It turns
Or
out
it's
it's
kind
all
of
a
like-
giant spaceship.
To me, it
that's
looks
just
like its
not
own.
pointing towards
To me,
the sun.
it looks like
Spoiler
its
alert,
own
the detective
Matrix.
dies.
Yeah, it's got like
Floats away.
it's got like a force shield around
To
it.
me, it looks like its own Matrix, where like basically they're
and
manifesting.
it's all a giant spiral.
They're,
It is a
they're
giant
like
spot.
building up this city on it. I feel like John Murdoch could literally just like build the Earth right there with his mind if he felt like it.
Yes, probably.
But he kind of
because,
kept it a flat Earth.
well, he
at the end.
did necessarily.
Yeah, but I could just see it wrapping around into a globe.
When John Murdoch, at the end of the movie, a bunch of stuff happens in the movie and he becomes friends with his wife. That's mainly what happens.
Mm-hmm.
He learns the case of what's happening, and he is captured by the strangers. Yeah, the strangers. He's captured by the strangers and hooked up to where he is going to... The doctor is going to imprint on his memory the actual identity of... I think his name is Jason Murdoch.
I don't know. His real
John
the
Murdoch.
memory of the killer.
Yes,
is what
he
he's
will
doing.
imprint upon Mr. Murdoch the memory of whatever.
Of the killer.
Of the killers. After they have already imprinted a stranger with the memories of the killer,
Yeah.
so that he could literally fight the manifestation of all of what he's supposed to be.
Yes.
He literally fights his intended identity.
But when he's strapped down, it should be noted that it is a clock that he's strapped down. The Matrix is literally a clock that he is
Oh,
spread eagle on.
no, he's not.
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
It's on the box.
They want to see what
No.
makes him tick.
They want to see
No,
what
he's
makes.
standing up, and he's just holding his arms like ah.
No, he
He
was
looks pretty
strapped, that way.
strapped down to me.
I don't
Yeah,
think-
there's a scene
Let me
at the
see.
end when they strap him down onto the thing,
Oh my God, he is.
and
Okay,
but it's
then whatever.
not upright. It's like laying down.
It's like this.
There's a lot of clock.
And then
It's like
swerves
Darth
upwards.
Vader
lots of
getting
circles
raised
in
up.
this movie.
Lots of circles. Wonderful
Yeah.
observation. Yes, and so when he is strapped down to the clock, he
It's
is
revealed that the Doctor was working for him all along, which was already established at the beginning of the movie. The Doctor likes him, but he's keeping his distance
a paid character.
because whatever. So the Doctor, or maybe it's maybe they figure that out, but then just force him to do whatever. I don't know.
The Doctor
The
gives
Doctor
him
switches.
different-
He switches out the identity of the murderer with with memories of the Doctor training him from a young age to be really good at tuning.
To be Jesus.
So he
To be the one.
instantaneously gains enough power to overpower every single stranger all at once, or at least just beat them.
to kick their asses by flying around
Yeah.
and punching them into things.
And thinking very hard.
Yeah, pretty much.
Thinking very
Using
hard. is
his
a critical
mind to do
point.
everything.
Which basically just results in him standing up and leaning forward, kinda, and spraying his arms out, and then making a face like he's making a poop.
Getting the vein in his temple.
Yeah.
And he does a lot of screaming.
He does
Or
scream.
concentrating really
Tuning.
hard.
It's tuning.
It's tuning.
And
He
then
fights some aliens, and he's trying to figure out what beach he has in his memories, and it turns
Sandy
out it
Shores.
just didn't exist.
or something.
So he beats everyone, and then he uses the powers that he has left to create a beach outside of the walls of the city.
Where he
Which is
meets
space.
where he
Where he
meets his wife, who has
Who has
no
a
memory
body
of being his wife.
Who has been imprinted with a different set of memories, but he
She's
says
fresh.
whatever.
She's
Yeah.
fresh, but still they
exciting.
fall in love just the same.
Really
because-
exciting to meet.
Because
Yeah.
it's really a movie about the human spirit and how even memories can't really shape you or something.
No,
cheesy.
it's about although the memories can shape you,
There's still
you don't
you're
need
still
to
you.
let them define you, maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Because
really,
the
yeah.
whole reason why the strangers wanted to do the experiment was to
To find
find
the
out.
human soul.
Find the human soul.
I
Find
don't
out what
know
makes us
exactly.
tick.
See what makes them tick.
Yes. We're going all the way back there. Now let's get into the point where me and Skylar disagree on how they handle tuning in this story. Because it is a very compelling story of memories defining your actions, but not your soul. And
Tuning is a plot device.
it is a plot device, but how they made it look is fucking stupid. It is fucking stupid.
I didn't
on the
care.
fact.
The
And
ripple effect
I like how it
is
looks.
silly.
Your ripple
Don't.
effect
I
is
think
bullshit,
even if
sir.
it had modern visuals, it would still look stupid.
It
as
looks
hell.
stupid because you can't make a mental idea like that unfold. Maybe Chronicle did.
I think
like,
they've been
they're
able to pull that
telekinetic.
off recently.
Yeah.
I picture it as the 1995 manifestation of a classic sci-fi looking thing.
Yeah.
Well, they were trying to make it look
like a
like.
thing that you would read about in some pulp sci-fi thing.
Well, they were trying to make it look like Metropolis. That was their point. To the
Not
Point
the
that they
effect
were-
though.
yeah, that's one of the features of
The effect doesn't look like Metropolis. I'm talking about the effect. You
Okay.
idiot. Pay attention.
Idiot.
You want the proof of purchase for this DVD?
I don't want the proof of purchase. I
Can
want to talk about how tuning is fucking retarded.
Let's let Danny rant about his
Okay.
stupid thing while I take a piss.
For example,
Oh,
you have a
God.
great science fiction thriller, and you decide to put a supernatural ripple effect that completely throws you out of the movie that is, to be honest, boring. Boring as sin, which is not good because your final climactic scene is two guys screaming with your ripple effect just going back and forth. It's basically the end of Deathly Hallows, but you have no wants. You just
Yeah.
see energy crashing into energy, and it's boring. It really is. So, one thing that they needed to figure out with this movie is how to do the tuning properly, because it's cool when the city is morphing and changing to make it impossible for John Murdoch to escape the Strangers, or nearly impossible. And yeah, that's my problem with tuning. It basically takes all the action out of this action movie. It requires nothing of the character other than to concentrate very hard, which is not visually appealing to us.
What would you have done?
What would I have done?
What is the directing decision that you would have made to make it better?
What I would have done is take out the ripples and you get essentially the same
Basically
thing
like the
of
Force.
telekinetic.
Basically,
You get
it's
the
something that
Force.
you can't see.
Yes. For
That they're
example,
manipulating with their
For
own
example,
mind.
any other telekinetic movie would just have the objects move or smash or splatter or go in a different direction that the character would do. What you could do is have the characters do maybe a close-up of their eyes, like if they're looking over here, then the object goes this way. If they're looking to the right, goes to the right.
Here's a
If it's
happy
looking to the
medium.
left.
Here's a happy medium. I've seen this done in the video game BioShock. When you use the telekinesis ability, you know when there's heat, the air is basically distorted, and you can see it wave a little bit.
Yes.
You mean what heat does?
Basically, what heat does, you see that there's a manipulation, but it's not literally like a beam of ripple, a series of ripples, I guess.
Yes, because what they were trying to do with tuning is similar to what they were trying to do with the tuning fork, because obvious. They just wanted that frequency to hit and cause things to explode, splatter, move in a series of directions, and that is just fucking boring in your movie that is supposed to be very serious about mistaken identity and serial killers, to have, these brain fights.
But
at
it's
the climax of your
necessarily
movie.
science fiction.
I get that it's science fiction, but
This is classic. This is a staple of science fiction.
I get that.
I don't discredit the film for not changing it.
Okay.
Danny, you
What-
know what I'm gonna do to this audio?
What?
I'm gonna accelerate it.
You're going to accelerate?
Because you're boring. Danny's flipping me off.
Yes, I'm flipping you off.
YouTube,
Because you can't
arrest
take-
this man.
Because you can't take it.
He doesn't like your political
Scott,
views.
How would you... What was your problem with tuning? Other than,
just told
do you
you.
have other things?
That was
I don't
was it.
have problems with tuning.
That was it. It's
We
just that
cannot
all I
talk
cared
about it
about
now.
was how the visual was. The ripples.
Visually, yes.
It was just the ripples. I didn't like the ripples,
Me
but I don't care
overall,
enough.
pretty
I don't
good
care
movie.
enough to keep talking about it. Can we move on? Can
Yes.
we talk about the City of Lost Children?
Talk about the
Please.
end.
No, we
No.
can't talk about
Lost
the City of
Children.
Lost Children. We had
City
that
of
segment.
Lost Children is a movie for a little bit about some conjoined twin women who do all their things with both of their arms, like really complexly. It's fun.
There is a cool visual where one twin is smoking a cigarette and the other is blowing it out. That was
The
fun.
twins own an orphanage, and they make the orphans go out and steal money for them. And eventually, Ron Perlman shows up and moves a really heavy safe for them, and they're impressed by this, so they like him for a few seconds until Ron Perlman helps some of the orphans escape, along with stealing the safe.
But then losing the
And then losing the safe by dropping it in the water when he notices the van that kidnapped his little brother or son.
the van with the giant eyeball. on
It's a
the back.
big Illuminati eyeball.
It's
with
so
a-
weird.
It's cool.
It's the weirdest thing in the movie.
It's so cool.
Really? That was the weirdest thing in the movie for you?
Yes.
So the twins basically hate Ron Perlman. They don't like him and they want him gone. So they go and find their old friend.
Like
It was-
half of the movie is taken up by them just trying to kill him and then failing.
Yes, they fail terribly.
They get exploded.
Can I say that the last monster in City of Lost Children.
The
is-
opium addict.
No.
No, it's a
Basically, it's the flea.
the flea.
The fleas.
He is
No,
a flea.
there's only one flea.
There's a jar of fleas that he.
Oh,
has.
wait,
It's a
wait.
flea circus.
Holy
It's
shit.
It's what the fleas do
I have
to you.
another compare
It turns
to Dark
you into
City.
a monster.
Okay,
Yes.
think about what happens to
He
Dark City
places-
when they get the memories to be implanted. They inject you with them. What do the fleas do? They inject you and make you a zombie and make you
Shut up, Daniel.
basically do the whims of the twins.
Oh,
That's
shut
a
up.
reach, but
That's a reach,
It's a
but
reach.
I could see that.
It's a reach, but
I
That's
see
an
it.
aesthetic thing.
I see
it is
still.
an aesthetic thing. But that is how.
Getting
I just
back
want
to
you
the
to
circus
stop
guy,
talking.
the circus guy, he has fleas, and he gives them a small vial where their proboscis should be,
They
or
have
whatever
an
you call it.
attachment.
They have an
That's
attachment,
proboscis.
and then
It's a poison.
it's a whatever.
So when
it's
they
a poison.
bite, when he commands them via music to bite a person,
it's a music cue.
then it's
Similar
a
to
It's a
Dark
music
City.
cue, they hear it.
He
Casino.
injects it, they hear it, and then they leaving the thing, and then draining all the poison into the body and turning whoever into a zombie.
into a murdering guy,
Murder
into an
fool.
angry murdering dude.
A murdering fool.
I like the one part where the blind deaf guy puts his ox cord in the other eye so that he could kill his companion
And make him
watch his own death.
That was
I also
grisly.
like
That was
the-
pretty cool. Eventually, the twins they get a taste of their own medicine, kind of literally, and they end up having to kill each other because they got the flea juice. They
And then
fall
they fall
and
the
into
opium addict, whose flea is the flea that does this thing.
yeah.
Who's
Flicks
been
his
smoking
cigarette
opium and crying this whole movie. Flicks his cigarette,
or a cigar.
blows him up.
I don't
I
know.
think it was either a
Whatever.
joint or a cigarette or
Yeah.
something.
He was burning
It was burning, and there was also gasoline poured into the
like a lot
into
of
the
it.
ocean.
By the conjoined twins.
Yes.
because they intended to burn Ron Perlman.
And Miet.
Oh.
I didn't want to get into this, but I guess we got into it.
So that happened.
It's good. We gotta wrap up the other movie too.
We did.
So then what he already wrapped up? Dark City.
We
did.
kind of did.
I guess we could talk about the ending of Dark City.
We did.
Again,
It's
we
the
did.
spaceship.
We did.
Yeah, it turns
I
out
There's
mean,
water.
I mean, City of Lost
There's water in
Children.
space.
City of Lost
Water in
Children.
space.
Water in
is how
space.
that ends. Really.
Yeah.
And then
The City of Lost Children ending is this.
It's pretty elaborate.
it
Ron
is.
Perlman goes
Yeah.
to save the kids and find his little brother. At
No, it's
the
just a lot
place.
of bullshit, basically. They find the original who doesn't know he's the original, but then he finds out he's the original by overly long ways that just takes up time.
And it's
And it's already too late because he's already strapped bombs to himself and
we
in
see
the terrorism.
the little girl Mia.
No, he later straps bombs to himself intending to blow up his dad, but he decides not to, but then blows up anyways.
But that's when he
Ron
realizes.
Perlman
That's when he realizes he's the
Is
original.
best friends with a 9-year-old who went to the orphanage. She's the second main character of the movie, and she's in the whole thing.
Yeah.
She's very important.
And she's the one that
She's-
goes into Dreamland with the doctor.
And they have
I want
dream.
it-
They have a dream
I
fight.
want it noted that Skylar, after we watched the movie, compared her to Natalie Portman
No, that was
in.
Tolkien.
Leon
But I
Perlman.
have had that. I have had that experience. Basically, realizing that that is a similarity.
Yes.
Which are both.
She's
French
that kind
movies.
of character. She's,
They're both French. They both have a kind of a kick-ass younger sidekick girl. And that, yeah, that's it.
And Daddy.
And it's
is-
not
And daddy
okay that you're
issues.
attracted
And daddy issues. And it's not okay that you're attracted to her, but they do kind of go out of their way to make you feel that way
because they're French.
because they're French.
They're all French. They're all pedophiles. They all are.
So basically,
All right,
City of
cut
Lost
that,
Children
and
ends with an
We won't have a
explosion
national incident.
after a dream battle.
There's a dream battle to see who's the strongest dreamer. Obviously, Miet's going to be the strongest
she's
dreamer
young.
because she's young, and Kronk can't dream.
Like
isn't
Dark
it the
City.
first
Like
dream
Dark
he
City.
had?
But she doesn't kill him. It's the dream that kills him because it's so
it's the first
intense.
dream
It's the
that
first
he
dream
ever
he
had.
ever has, and it's super intense, and his heart gives
He
out.
is aged down, and then he sees her aged up, or she is
Yeah.
aged up in the dream or whatever.
Dream.
Might be a stretch, but it's kind of like the ending to Dark City.
And
where
there is one of those visual effects where it regularly cuts to the same two repeating shots, and it creates like a weird visual effect where it looks like it's growing.
a lot of wide
It's real
angle
swell.
lens.
It's real swell. Lots of wide angle lenses in this film.
Yes, but this is sort of like the ending to Dark
Yeah,
City.
man.
How could you compare it to the end?
How is it?
Because
like
Miette and the scientist are fighting in the dream world, and they're trying to gain control, and one blows the shit up out of the bad guys' organization, and John Murdoch does a similar thing. Basically replace
Oh my
dreams
God.
with your tuning and destroying everything.
Just because
We're
the protagonists win by using the rules established in the movies, that's a similarity.
it really is, because
They
we're
both
talking
have
about-
beginnings, middles, and ends. They both have characters. They both have credits.
I get that you're so cynical
Oh my
about this,
God.
but this is a compare and contrast. He wanted to do this.
I hate
I'm just
comparing, I
feeding
hate
into his
contrasting.
madness.
I don't know why we did this. It was all a mistake.
It really wasn't. This is going to be the best episode ever. All right.
Oh,
I miss when we made jokes about analyzing the films.
This was about analyzing the films. We analyzed them. We analyzed the shit out of both.
we legitimately analyzed them. That's not what I want.
We should not watch movies that we like then.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it was
Yeah.
fun.
Next time on Every Ever Monster.
Wait.
You got anything else to say about the movie?
Night of the Living Dead, because we
No.
all love it. We all love it.
We are gonna get to Night of the Living Dead one day, and when we do, I swear to God, it'll be great, and you will all love it. But until then, I don't care. Because I love that movie, and I know it'll ruin it.
I love films. I've loved films as long as I can remember.
I love my bubble
Since-
pipe.
2015. oh boy, what a podcast we have here. I
Yes.
hope you all have a delightful night. Danny, shut your fucking mouth. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it, mister. I've been holding this guitar all podcast. I'll hit you with it. I swear to God.
Well, at least it's
God
better
damn it,
than
I
you
told you
playing.
to shut
At
your
least
mouth.
it's better than
Shut
you
your
playing
mouth.
it. At least it's better than you playing it. All right. Bye.